Hey there, how are you all? I am trying to figure out. I was going to wear a hat today because yesterday when I was complaining about my roots, one of my friends said, "Get a hat." And I thought, that's what I need. So I searched and searched and it just looked too bad. So you have me, roots and all. Today I want to talk about initiation and surrender. Now, an initiation is not the word that we normally would use when we're going through something that is difficult or requiring us to change. But initiation is a word that is used in shamanism when it refers to something that you may be struggling with or a challenge. The key, I guess, explanation of initiation is it doesn't always have to include suffering, but it usually does because we humans don't like to change. But an initiation is something that would provoke us to changing, could be our thinking, could be behavior, but something that would move us deeper into our own soul's development. And with that comes surrender. Now, surrender is a word that none of us like. When I was first introduced to that word, it was almost the same as humiliation. Being humble and being humiliated to me were kind of the same things. And so it took a while for me to realize that being humble and being humiliated were very, very different. So an initiation is kind of what the whole world is going through right now. This lockdown, this pandemic is calling us to change, to think about how and where in our lives we're going to change. That's why I don't like when people say, well, when things get back to normal. It's not going to get back to normal. I don't even like the popular word, the new normal. Oh, why does it always have to be normal? If nothing else, why can't it be unique? Everybody's journey is different. And one of the things we may be called to listen to and change our behavior, provoke us into change, is that this is a worldwide experience. So maybe diversity and unique experience can happen at the same time we're being called together as a collective. You know, in many instances, paradox is the most unusual that we can experience. I know when I'm working with clients, it's like I have them identify a feeling every time we have a group. Put your name, your sobriety date, and what you're feeling. And they know it's coming. And each time they go, my name is so-and-so, my sobriety date is so-and-so, and I'm feeling, and that's of course one of the reasons they used chemicals, so they didn't have to feel. So you can have paradoxical feelings, paradoxical experiences, just like we're having now. None of us were chosen to be separated from one another or to be locked down. We would continue our frenetic activity and going 100 miles an hour. But in doing so, it's caused us to think about things. I've heard a number of people say, I'm not sure I want this to end. Yes, I want the deaths to end. Yes, I want the virus to end. But the staying at home part, I'm kind of getting used to it. And I have to admit I'm one of those. I've always said I don't mind working. I just don't have to worry about making a living. So if I were allowed to stay home all the time, I probably wouldn't. I'd be busier than usual. But it's this initiation we're all going through requires us to surrender what was familiar. Now, please don't hear me say you have to give everything up. You don't. But what isn't working? To be able to say to your higher power, let everything that is of no value, that is not working with me, fade away. What needs to go, go. What needs to change, change. What needs to be brought to my attention is brought to my attention. It's calling us to do things differently. We're going through an initiation. I wish I could tell you only have one initiation a lifetime. Doesn't work that way. I say that my life resembled that of a whack-a-mole game in those pizza joints. Just when I got one area of my life straightened out, another one would pop up, and I'd think, oh hell, here's another initiation. Now what am I going to do with this one? But each one of them has offered me growth. I could stay the same, or I could go ahead and grow. So take some time and ask yourself, in what areas have I changed? In what areas am I growing? And don't follow it up with, and there are a whole lot of other areas where I need to grow more. So I've changed in this regard, and I enjoy growing. Swallow that one. Surrender to that one. One of the things I also learned when I had cancer, and that was a big initiation, was the law of non-resistance. I'm sure I'm not unique, but I may be odd. I know I'm odd. But I don't march against cancer or stand up to cancer or any of that negativity, because I believe what you resist persists. So when I had that experience, I went to the concept of cancer and asked what it wanted of me. And as I've told you before, I learned it was a kind of a dumb cell, that it goes into emergency and it starts replicating over and over and over, and that's not good. So I thanked it and said, thank you very much. I understand that you thought this was an emergency and you're replicating yourself, but it really isn't. And thank you very much. I'll take it from here, and you can kind of relax and go back to where you came from. And so the idea of being in crisis and relaxing is a paradox. To surrender is when we get power, is a paradox. To be so segregated from each other and realizing that we want to be in connection with each other, it's a paradox, but it's a learning experience. We have to say thank you to the initiation process. I don't know whether any of that made sense to you. It made sense to me, but only because I've spent a lifetime reflecting on all the times I've had to surrender and was what is referred to as being a stiff-necked person. I love that phrase. You bet you believe it, I was a stiff-necked person. It's like the little kid, the toddler, who doesn't want to do something. And boy, they can go as limp as can be, or they can go as stiff as a board. And you're kind of powerless over either position. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so it's time for me to stop. I love you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. And I would be happy if y'all sent me beautiful hats. I'd wear them all. But the ones I had were kind of caps, and they looked pretty raggedy. It's kind of like those are the ones that had to go to the beach. I love you. Let's see, I see Debbie and Molly and Hilda and Kate and a whole bunch of others. And Holly, there you are. I love you, and thank you for all the hearts y'all are sending to me. I'll see you tomorrow. It's already Thursday tomorrow. What happened to the week? Bye. I love you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Bye.